Good morning. On behalf of the New York International Antiquarian Book Fair, we'd like to welcome you to a special performance this morning of Patti Smith and Jessie Paris Smith. Thank you.
Hello, hi, good morning, everyone. We're so happy to be here. My name is Jessie, and I'm the founding ambassador of the book fair, which I really like saying. It's just very exciting. So last year, the book fair asked if, since my mom and I are such admirers and we attend every year and do everything we can to spread the word about the fair and honor our bookseller friends, they asked if I wanted to be involved in some sort of official capacity. So last year we started the ambassador program, and this year we've added 8 more ambassadors. So now it's a growing ambassador circle, which is very fun. Lots of unique perspectives and points of view and new communities, so it's been really great. So today we want to, in that tradition, honor our bookseller friends, and so we picked 2 booths that are very dear to us. We have Henry Wessells from James Cummins Bookseller here, and we're also honoring Sanctuary Books, my very good dear friend Dan Wexler, and Haida, how do you say your last name? Haida Hotchkiss, from Sanctuary Books. So we're going to spotlight some things about each of their work and also honor other friends in the antiquarian trade and writers, and just show the ways that we're all connected through the fair and through the antiquarian world and through books and the written word. So I have to look at my notes here. Okay, yeah, so today, April 5th, my mom pointed out to me that is the passing day of Allen Ginsberg, and he died in 1997 here in New York City. And when I met Dan Wexler from Sanctuary Books, the way that we first met each other was I purchased a Gregory Corso manuscript, a zine. It was an unedited zine from Dan, and that's how we got to know each other and became friends. And April 2nd was also the 80th birthday of Anne Waldman, who is another one of our great beat poets. Her son Ambrose and granddaughter are here. And so, yeah, so through Gregory and Anne and Alan, these are all more connections. But I'm going to bring my mom up here now because she's looking at me and I want her to start talking. Okay, thank you.
So, as Jessie pointed out, there's a beautiful connection between Gregory Corso, Allen Ginsberg, and Anne Waldman. Anne Waldman started the St. Mark's Poetry Project, where I did my first reading. Allen Ginsberg at that time was my mentor, and Gregory Corso my friend. And so thinking of all 3 of them today is wonderful. And their manuscripts and books can be found throughout the fair. So Jessie and I thought we would do a piece of Allen's today, and it's a piece where Allen pays homage to his spiritual mentor, Walt Whitman. And Allen died on this day in 1997. Jessie was 10 years old, and I brought Jessie to the loft because Allen was in his last sleep, and so she could say goodbye, because Allen had been very, very kind to me since 1971, and certainly to my children. And it was, just such a nice thing for Jessie to be able to say goodbye. And Allen was in a simple white iron bed, asleep, and I suppose one would call it a coma, but we like to think of it as asleep. And he had a beautiful vintage photograph of Walt Whitman on the wall next to his bed. And so when I think of those last moments, I think of them forever entwined. So this is a poem. I have to change my glasses. called a supermarket in California. What thoughts I have of you tonight, Walt Whitman, for I walk down the side streets under the trees with a headache, self-conscious, looking at the full moon. In my hungry fatigue and shopping for images, I went into the neon fruit supermarket, dreaming of your enumerations. The sound of sirens in the distance. What peaches and what penumbrans. Whole families shopping at night. Aisles full of husbands, wives in the avocados, babies in the tomatoes. And you, Garcia Lorca, what were you doing down by the watermelons? I saw you, Walt Whitman. I saw you, Walt Whitman, childless, lonely old grubber, poking among the meats in the refrigerator and eyeing the grocery boys. I heard you asking questions of each. Who killed the pork chops? What price bananas? And are you my angel? I wandered in and out of the brilliant stacks of cans, following you, and followed in my imagination by the store detective. We strode down the open corridors together in our solitary fancy, tasting artichokes, possessing every frozen delicacy, and never passing the cashier. Where are you going, Walt Whitman? The doors close in an hour. Which way does your beard point tonight? I touch your book and dream of our odyssey in the supermarket, and I feel absurd. Will we walk all night through solitary streets? The trees add shade to shade lights. Out in the houses, we'll both be lonely. Will we stroll dreaming of the lost America, of love past blue automobiles and driveways, home to our silent cottage? Oh, dear Father Graybeard, lonely old courage teacher, what America did you have when Sharon quit polling his fury and his beautiful furry? He quit polling the furry and you got out on a smoking bank and stood watching the boat disappear on the black waters of Lesh.
Are you ready? Okay, so I would like to introduce you to Henry Wessells from James Cummins Bookseller. He is very special to us as in his profession and also as a friend. We love Henry very much. And, what? What are you gonna say? What are you gonna say? Did I say something wrong? He's blushing. Okay. So we did last month. We did a piece with the Financial Times about the book fair and about the antiquarian world, and we did a photo shoot with Henry at James Cummins Bookseller. And is it just come out today? It just came out today. So there's a picture of my mom and me at the shop, and here we are. And then they had wanted my mom and I to pick out a collection of books that we would like from the shelves, and we told Henry, since he knows us both so well and he knows what we love, we said, just ask Henry, he'll know exactly what to pull, and he picked the perfect things that represented what we adore. So now we'd like to bring up Henry to continue with this. So welcome, Henry.
Thank you, Jesse. My name's Henry Wessells, and I'm going to tell a little story about a book that I once had. Nearly 200 years ago, in a small village north in Yorkshire, at the top of the village there was a parsonage, and a young girl wrote out and put together her best poems. She was 13 years old, and her name was Charlotte Bronte. And when she and her sisters Anne and Emily grew up, they wrote some of the most celebrated novels of the 19th century: Jane Eyre, The Tenant of Wildfell Hall, and Wuthering Heights. They're books that were read around the world then and are still read now. Her poems were known. They were never published in her lifetime. These little tiny poems were put away and last seen in 1916. It was an ordinary day at James Cummins' Bookseller one morning in the middle of the second year of the pandemic, and I got a call from my friend Ed Maggs in London asking me if I would do him a favor. There was a collector who had a Bronte manuscript, and it was time to ensure the preservation and future of this manuscript. So over the next several months, I developed a relationship of trust with this collector, and eventually flew to an undisclosed location, being the only person on the airplane wearing a mask, the only person in the state wearing a mask as I went on my way. We met the following morning, and the collector and I signed agreements, and I took possession of a book of rhymes by Charlotte Bronte. It was last seen in 1916, and it had been preserved in a little envelope with a page torn out of the auction catalog that had a photograph of it. In 1916, they never put photographs in catalogs, except perhaps for the first folio Shakespeare or for Charlotte Bronte. And over the next couple of months, in preparation for the New York Book Fair, we did our work. And on opening night in 2022, which happened to be Charlotte's birthday, April 21st, 2022, it was on display in a vitrine all by itself in the booth. And it was an absolute pleasure to be able to announce that the Friends of the National Library had bought it to return it to the Parsonage Museum in Haworth, where it had been written. And I'm an antiquarian bookseller. I'm a generalist. I deal in all sorts of things. I've had T.E. Lawrence's flag from the Arab Revolt. It's now in a museum in the Kingdom of Jordan. The archive of the New York Review of Books and Bob Silver's papers, that was 3,000 boxes on a loading dock in the Brooklyn Navy Yard. The literary papers of George Plimpton in somewhere in Connecticut, and Walter Benjamin's third book. But this little book was the thing that taught me that as an antiquarian bookseller, if I'm doing my job right, I'm the flow of the river. I had a very small part in the long history of this manuscript, and now, because it is being published later this month, everyone in the world will be able to read these poems that Charlotte Bronte wrote in that little village long ago. I've known Patti for many years, and there's a page in the Book of Days where there are a couple of things that I helped her find. And she's one of the most remarkable readers I've ever met. So thank you, Jesse and Patti, for inviting me to talk here. This is a very happy place for me, and I'm kind of giddy, ça plane pour moi, as the French would say. And so this is the facsimile of a book of rhymes by Charlotte Bronte, published for the Bronte Society by Tartarus Press in Yorkshire. It will be available on the 21st of April, and they have a website, tartaruspress.com, where it can be pre-ordered. This is the first copy in New York City, and I'm happy to show it to you. And I hope that you will all read it, because 2 or 3 of the poems would be remarkable for any human being to have written, let alone a young girl in Yorkshire. Thank you very much.
I don't know if it's possible to have any more light up here. Is it? No? Okay. I had a little trouble reading. I think I need a new prescription. I know, and it's right. I'm just holding on to it. I'm just sorry. It's just habit. Sorry. Yeah, it's perfect. So, thank you, Henry. And yes, I have through the years acquired things from Henry's store. Henry was very kind to me when I was younger and had, and I didn't have that much money, and he would allow me to put very precious things on layaway for years, till finally he'd say, "You're almost paid up, just take the darn thing." And so I'm always very grateful to him. And so I was privy to see these poems very early, because Henry asked if I would write a small introduction to the book. And so I'm going to read one of the poems that deeply touched me, and just a small piece of my introduction. It comes from, in the introduction, I'm talking about this one section of poems where she really goes far out. I mean, it's like a Coltrane solo. She 13 years old going way, way out into the stratosphere. Suddenly, she drops down to earth and offers a quiet, lucid little piece, 14 lines that she identifies as a sonnet. She heralds the magnificence of nature, yet reminds us of the jewels of the seemingly commonplace. Lovely is the bright rainbow, but lovelier still the swan's neck of snow. Simplicity so acutely articulated, it brought me to tears. So this little poem is called A Thing of 14 Lines. Fair is the heaven's ethereal blue, but fairer still the earth's green hue. Sweet is the sound when zephyrs blow, but sweeter when pure waters flow. Soft and mild is the pale moonbeam, but softer still the glowworm's gleam. Lovely is the bright rainbow, but lovelier still the swan's neck of snow. Graceful is the perfume shower, more graceful the sweet scented flower. Beauteous is the glowing day, all in its bright and fair array. Most glorious is the heaven's high dome, but dearer far, our peaceful home. Charlotte Bronte, 13 years old.
Thank you. Thank you, Henry. Also, when it was Charlotte's birthday at the fair 2 years ago, we realized that, and after the fair had ended for the evening, Henry let us look closely at the manuscript, and we sang "Happy Birthday" to the manuscript in honor of Charlotte, and that was one of my very favorite book fair memories over the years. Was that special moment? Wasn't that nice? Yeah. Yeah, it was very nice. So we've honored Henry and James Cummins, bookseller. Where are you? A what? What? A3. Please visit Henry at A3 when the fair opens at noon. And the other booth that we'd like to highlight, is Sanctuary Books, which is B11. I hope you will join them there. And Dan Wexler and Haida have this wonderful collaboration that they do every year in their booth. And Haida is an artist. How else would you describe yourself? She's a beautiful artist and creator of these wonderful, strange and wonderful menageries of things. And her and Dan, they come up with a theme for the year, and Dan will choose books from his collection, and she'll create these incredible sculptures and these unique pieces. I don't know what word to use to describe them. Unique artist books. But they're even more than that. They're just, you have to go see them. I can't even describe it. So this year the theme is birds, right? And in particular, Flaco, who we all know is the Eurasian eagle owl, who died. In case you don't know about Flaco, I'll just read a little bit, Flaco was hatched in North Carolina on March 15th, 2020, and lived at the Central Park Zoo for more than 12 years. In February 2023, someone tampered with his enclosure, cutting the protective netting, and he escaped. The zoo tried to lure him back to their care, but after a few weeks, it didn't seem possible to capture him, and they no longer pursued the mission as he was hunting and taking care of himself. There were worries, though, as several other factors were now posing risks he had not been previously exposed to, chemicals, rodenticides, for example. Flaco remained in the wilds of New York, staying close within or near to Central Park for 9 months. New Yorkers and bird watchers started to see him around the city in various places, taking great delight in his well-documented sightings. And then in February 2023, just 1 year after his escape from the zoo, he collided with one of our skyscrapers. Oh, it made me cry. And his life on Earth came to an end. So some of us got to see him in real life. On Yoko Ono's 90th birthday, I was in Central Park for a celebration of her with Pascal. And we went to bring roses to lay down at the Imagine mosaic, and Pascal saw a group of people looking up into the trees, and we went over to see what was happening, and it was Flaco. So Pascal and I got to watch him and see him there, which was very special. And then Haida had a very, very magical, incredible experience with Flaco, that if you go to the booth, she can tell you the story and show you the pieces that she created from this really spiritual, mystical experience that she had with him. Is this do you make this for the fair or just on separately? I'm going to read about it. But this is the book that Haida has created that you can go. It says, Flacofolia, Micro-Essays by Leonard Schwartz, Assemblages in Century-Old Books by Haida Hatry, published by Spuyten and Duyvil, 100 pages, 2025. I'm just reading what it says. In Flacofolia, poet Leonard Schwartz and artist Haida Hatry explore the implications of the eagle owl's sojourn in the city. So this is this beautiful book that they've created, so please go and visit their booth and see about it. And Dan isn't here this morning, which I was a little bit disappointed about because I had prepared a little speech about him, but I can just share it with him later. I really need some more coffee. I feel like I'm being really inarticulate and blabbing, and you were so magical in the way that you spoke. Okay, sorry. Okay. I also, what am I doing? Oh, the poem. Okay, I'm sorry. Last year in this room, we did a panel discussion with a book conservator and a bookseller and someone from the Morgan Library and my mom. And it was a really beautiful conversation around the world of antiquarian books. And you can watch the whole thing. It's on YouTube in case you're interested. And I really did a lot of preparation for that. And I feel like just want you to go and see it. So please watch that. And I'm sorry. Okay, there you go. Thank you. Okay, just one more thing, two more things before we go. In relation to the sanctuary, a theme of birds, Dan chose a poem for me to read by Mary Oliver. So I'm going to share this with you now, and then we'll do one more song for you. Coming down out of the freezing sky with its depths of light, like an angel or a Buddha with wings, it was beautiful and accurate, striking the snow and whatever was there with a force that left the imprint of the tip of its wings 5 feet apart, and the grabbing thrust of its feet, and the indentation of what had been running through the white valleys of the snow. And then it rose, gracefully, and flew back to the frozen marshes, to lurk there like a little lighthouse in the blue shadows. So I thought, maybe death isn't darkness, after all, but so much light wrapping itself around us, as soft as feathers, that we are instantly weary of looking and looking and looking, and shut our eyes, not without amazement, and let ourselves be carried, as through the translucence of mica, to the river that is without the least dapple or shadow, that is nothing but light, scalding aortal light, in which we are washed and washed and washed out of our bones. Thank you. You want to come up here? So thank you for being here with us today for this morning before the book fair. I think that just through all of these threads and connecting threads between us all, we can see that we're all connected through geography and through time, through the words of books and through the pages of books and these creations. And we're connected to animals and writers and bookbinders from centuries past and people in the future who will see these things long after we're gone. So that's all. Okay, come.
I just want to tell you that I stumbled a little bit over the poems because I had trouble seeing them, and I just realized I had the wrong glasses on. So the whole time I brought, because my reading glasses and my long distance glasses look almost the same, except one is slightly different color. And I was worrying the whole time that my eyes were at an all-time low. But, so neither one of us had our coffee this morning.
Mine
so
is right there. I haven't had any of it.
Please forgive
Can't
us.
wait to have it.
And thank you so much for being here. You could relate this. I wrote this song for Jessie when she was a little girl, but in singing it, one could think of Charlotte Bronte as a little girl. One could think of the beloved owl. One could think of many things. Also, all of our children, and also beautiful gardens where birds like to sing and congregate. So also for the Elizabeth Street Gardens. So the song is for poets, books, and the gardens that inspire them. I was a wing in heaven blue on the ocean, soared in the rain, and I was free. I needed nobody. It was beautiful. It was beautiful. I was a pawn, couldn't make a move, couldn't go nowhere, no future at all. Yet I was free, I needed nobody. It was beautiful. It was beautiful. And if there's one thing could do for you, you'd be a wing in heaven blue. I was a vision in another eye, and I saw everything, a future for all, and I was free, I needed nobody. It was beautiful. It was beautiful. And if there's one thing could do for you, you'd be a wing in heaven blue. And if there's one thing could do for you, you'd be a wing in heaven blue. Jessie Paris Smith.
Thank you. So the book fair opens in 5 minutes, right? The book fair opens in 5 minutes, so please visit all the sellers, say hello to them, say hello to Henry, say hello to Haida, and have a wonderful, magical day of discoveries and explorations. Okay, thank you.